right now on 5 on your side at 10.
We heard a car's honk, then gunshots.
I'm extremely outraged. Not only an innocent man, but a senior citizen.
Tonight, the search for the impatient driver who opened fire at a red light.
As the wind advisory has come to a close, we look at some of our peak wind speeds that were well in excess of 50 miles an hour today. What we're expecting over the next few hours as we head into the overnight hours, and when those winds will finally warm us up again.
Justice for Jared.
It's about time. 3.5 years of fighting, trying to get some justice.
Tonight, a local Gold Star father reflects after the U.S. nabs a terror mastermind. First at 10, the snow has moved out, but gusty winds could still impact us overnight. The good news, though, we're no longer under a weather impact alert tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Those strong winds we've dealt with all day are finally dying down tonight. Let's get straight over to meteorologist Gary Frank on what you can expect in the morning. Gary?
It's not going to look the way it did this morning, and that's fortunate because it was a miserable start to the day with visibility that was low and winds that were already gusting over 40 miles an hour very quickly. As we look at Edwardsville, this is one of the cameras I can see at night, and you can see not much going on. The trees are still moving, but there are some gusts that are close to 40 right now. St. Louis, Lambert gusting to 37, Chesterfield at 39. Those are the two highest ones. I want to point out Rolla, Columbia. Those numbers are coming down. That's what's headed our way. This is not going up. This is going down tonight. It was the opposite. And just to show you the progression hour by hour, once we get past midnight, watch those 30s finally move out of the wayside, and it's about 25. And then as you start off the morning tomorrow, 6 a.m., we got gusts to 20, not gusts to 50. That's a big difference. You're going to like that in the morning. And it's all part of the system that's finally exiting, and it will be sunny in the morning as well. Old Glory still flying here, downtown 33. Feels like 22, though. That's got a little bit of a bite to it. Overnight, temps will fall into the mid-20s. I'm optimistic that although we'll see a couple of cool mornings, the wind gradually settles. I got 2 waves of light rain I'm tracking on Friday. We'll talk about that, and also mid-70s on the way in the near future.
Tonight, a 72-year-old man is recovering after someone randomly shot him while he sat in his car at a red light.
It happened Sunday night at an intersection in the Mark Twain neighborhood in North St. Louis. New at 10, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend talks to concerned neighbors.
People who live near North Kings Highway in Thekla in North St. Louis are furious after hearing what happened to a 72-year-old man.
Not only an innocent man, but a senior citizen.
It's real sad. People are getting impatient and just can't wait.
The driver told police around 8 Sunday night he was at a red light at this intersection when someone in a car behind him began honking their horn. The man suddenly heard gunshots and then saw he'd been shot in his lower back. Neighbors say they heard at least 4 shots. The shooter sped off.
That could have been my mother.
Carla Reed is the president of the newly formed Mark Twain Neighborhood Association.
And it could have happened to any one of us at a stoplight just randomly. So it leads me to believe or just reinforce the fact that there is a lack of mental health support in the community, a lack of empathy, and people don't think through their actions.
The random shooting happened down the street from Pastor Rodney Weekly's church. Weekly has had enough of the gun violence.
And I'm looking to partner up with some pastors and other churches, and hopefully that we can solve something and get something that will help the community.
Paramedics took the 72-year-old driver to a hospital in critical condition. The victim told police it happened so fast, and that's why he couldn't get a good look at the driver or the car. Meantime, lots of people in this neighborhood are thinking about the innocent man who could have died.
My heart goes out to him. We will definitely be praying for him and praying for his recovery.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Police are still looking for the shooter and asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. The number's 866-371-TIPS. And remember, you can remain anonymous and you may receive a cash reward if your tip leads to an arrest.
We're following a developing story out of the Missouri State Capitol in Jefferson City. Senate Democrats have staged a filibuster on the state takeover of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. They took the floor this afternoon and are still debating at this hour. Remember, House Republicans passed the bill last month, and it's a main priority of Governor Mike Keogh. Mayor Tashara Jones staunchly opposes it, and just today, Chief Robert Tracy touted an historic low for homicides in the city.
A rematch in the race for St. Louis mayor is set. Mayor Tashara Jones and Alderwoman Kara Spencer were in the top two vote getters in last night's primary. The two now move on to the April 8th municipal election. Spencer lost to Jones in 2021, but last night she pulled off an overwhelming victory, receiving twice as many votes as the incumbent. Both candidates will square off right here in the 5 on Your Side studios in the St. Louis mayoral debate. It will air live Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. here on 5 on Your Side. You can always watch for free on the 5+ streaming app on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV.
St. Louis County voters will also head to the polls on April 8th, and they'll weigh in on a controversial ballot question.
The council has approved funding for Proposition B with strong opposition from the county executive. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski is here to make sense of what has been a lengthy battle.
Mike and Kelly, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page doubled down on calling Proposition B Prop bad, saying it would cause chaos in county government. Council says that's not the case at all.
If Proposition B is passed by St. Louis County voters, it would give the County Council the ability to take disciplinary action against county department heads and to vote to remove them.
What we need here in St. Louis County is to make sure that people are held accountable. No power grab, it's just accountability.
County Councilman Dennis Hancock says the most recent example of why this is needed is a sunshine request was not properly fulfilled. It was made to the health department asking for any plans detailing the transition of turning over the animal shelter from the APA to county control.
They were allowed to violate the sunshine law and to lie about it. Nothing happened. That's wrong. If the county executive decides he's not going to do anything about that, who's left to do it but the county council?
County Executive Sam Page says the proposition will be disruptive. The council denies that.
Proposition B will inject all kinds of chaos into county government by making our department directors have 8 bosses.
Right now, there is some chaos without this, and I think this will bring some stability to some of the decision making in this building.
Page says this could be a way to remove the police chief, which the police union is against. But the council says they left the police chief out of this on purpose and would not change those rules in the county charter.
The police chief is hired by the police board. The police chief is fired by the police board.
A county circuit court ruled Prop B ballot language was misleading, but an appellate court overturned it, saying challenging the language should come after the election.
The council voted to approve the use of a little more than $500,000 of gain interest from the RAM settlement money to put it on the ballot.
New developments tonight in the battle over abortion rights in Missouri. Today, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey issued a notice of intent to serve a cease and desist order against Planned Parenthood. His office claims Planned Parenthood is violating state health and safety standards by performing chemically induced abortions with an approved complication plan. Planned Parenthood Great Rivers claims it submitted the plan to state health officials last month. Missouri voters legalized abortions in November.
Tonight, the Riverview Gardens School District says it's forced to make big changes now that federal COVID dollars are running out. The North County School District says it will have to adjust its budget as a result. However, school leaders have yet to detail what cost-cutting measures need to be taken.
Tonight, a glimmer of justice for a local family still bearing the profound grief of losing their son to terrorism nearly 4 years ago. The mastermind of the 2021 Abbey Gate bombing at the Kabul airport has been captured and is now in U.S. custody.
5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon has more from the family who received a personal call with the news before President Donald Trump made the big announcement to Congress last night. Brent?
Well, the main suspect in the case appeared in court in Virginia today. And this means a lot for relatives of soldiers who have been waiting for some type of action for years, including Mark Schmitz of St. Charles County. His son Jared was one of 13 service members killed during that devastating attack.
The world heard it Tuesday evening.
Tonight I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster.
Mark Schmidt got word hours earlier.
We had no idea what was coming. We thought maybe it was something to do with the investigation process.
And said the president was notifying him and other families. ISIS militant Mohammed Sharafullah was en route to the U.S. to appear before a federal judge.
Trump said he wanted to wait to tell us until he knew that he was safely in the air and in our custody. He was actually in air when he told us yesterday afternoon.
He couldn't contain his shock.
This hit us from left field, you know, and you're looking for the ball coming from right field and he gets smacked on the other side. It was like, holy cow.
Nor his sense of relief.
It's about time. 3.5 years of fighting, trying to get some justice. When somebody does you wrong, you want to find out the answers.
The airport bombing happened as the U.S. was withdrawing from Afghanistan. The suspect is charged with providing and conspiring to provide material support for terrorism. Right now, Schmitz is working to complete a campsite in Bourbon, Missouri, in honor of his son and his 12 fellow service members, known as the Freedom 13.
We want to make sure that never happens again. There's no other family should ever have to go through what we're going through.
The nonprofit behind that campsite is taking $13 donations to make their vision a reality. Their goal is to have it in place by the end of the year. You can learn more about those efforts on KSDK.com. Meantime, a federal judge ordered the suspect in this case to stay in custody until his next hearing Monday.
A local charity accused of being a con.
They promised to spend this money on feeding children.
Tonight, the millions of taxpayer dollars federal prosecutors say went to fund a lavish lifestyle. A solution to an egg-expensive purchase at the grocery store. Tonight, we verify why you shouldn't buy your backyard chickens before they hatch.
We're supposed to be around 50 degrees each afternoon this time of the year, and look at next week. We're at least 20 degrees above average. Why we could target our warmest day of the year so far, and how long we can hold on to that spring warmth.
Right now, Chesterfield police are looking for this man, Blake William Vossmeyer. He's wanted for injuring 2 officers while speeding away in a car. Today, prosecutors filed several charges, including assault in connection to last night's incident in the Chesterfield Valley. According to police, officers were trying to pull Vossmeyer out of a car wanted for shoplifting at Dick's Sporting Goods. That's when he drove off, throwing both officers to the ground. Both suffered minor injuries. If you know of his whereabouts, you're asked to call police.
An update tonight in the search for grave robbers who stole some priceless items from a South County cemetery. Police have recovered one of the 6 bronze mausoleum doors taken from New Mount Sinai Cemetery in Afton last month. They didn't say how it was found. Each weighs between 200 and 500 pounds. Investigators believe the thieves are either trying to sell the doors or scrap them. If you have information, call the Afton Southwest Precinct. That number's 314-615-4266.
Tonight, a Metro East couple is facing serious charges, accused of stealing millions of dollars meant to feed low-income children in Missouri. De'Ara Williams and Nicholas Warford were arrested yesterday on multiple fraud and money laundering charges. Prosecutors say they pocketed more than $7 million in taxpayer funds through their nonprofit and catering company to fund a lavish lifestyle. That includes a $1 million home in Edwardsville, 6 luxury cars, and vacations.
They promised to spend this money on feeding children. That's what they represented to the state of Missouri. And instead of spending the money on feeding children, low-income children in the city of St. Louis, what they used the money for was to benefit themselves.
Williams and Walford have pleaded not guilty. They're out of custody tonight. We called their foundation and catering business, but were unable to reach them for comment.
Egg prices continue to reach record levels, and they're only expected to go higher. The USDA predicts the prices of eggs. The agency predicts egg prices will increase by an additional 41% by the end of this year. And some people are starting to wonder if backyard chickens are the solution.
Now, in some places, the birds are banned. However, there's a new Missouri state law, and Ann Allred is here to verify if it overrides local rules.
One way to deal with egg shortages and skyrocketing prices, hatch your own. But first, check your local laws. One 5 on Your Side viewer in O'Fallon, Missouri found out it's illegal where he lives. He asked the Verify team if a recently passed Missouri state law supersedes the city statute. Let's verify. Is it true a recently enacted Missouri state law allows for backyard chicken ownership and supersedes local laws? Our sources, O'Fallon spokesperson Tony Michalka and Missouri Senator Nick Schroer. Schroer wrote the law. He says it only applies to lots that are at least 2/10 of an acre, and it does override two aspects when it comes to owning chickens: any HOA rules prohibiting backyard chickens and any running deed with the land, which means any restrictions put on future homeowners.
If I am a grandpa and I sell you the land, I can't prohibit you and any future owner thereof from owning chickens in any way, shape, or form.
The state law does not address local laws, and therefore they're protected and enforceable.
If you're in an area that is restricting the ownership of hens or chickens in any manner, that still reigns supreme. So you're still not allowed to own in those areas.
We can verify no. A recently enacted Missouri state law addressing the ownership of backyard chickens does not supersede local laws. However, the new state law does supersede HOA rules and any running deed with the land. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
An HOA group at the Lake of the Ozarks sued the state of Missouri over this new law. That case is scheduled for trial at the end of March. What can Ann verify for you? You can let her know by email. That email address is verify@ksdk.com.
And if you are in the market for some backyard chickens, a Wright City couple developed Rent the Chicken. They provide a portable chicken coop and 2 hens that should lay a dozen eggs a week. The cost, $545 for 7 months. We have more information in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com.
Well, the St. Louis Zoo has pulled off a bear barter. Collie, the zoo's only polar bear, has been sent to the Toledo Zoo, and in exchange, Toledo sent twin polar bears Kalu and Kalik to St. Louis. The move is part of a breeding program. The twins are set to make their public debut in the coming weeks.
It felt a little like they would be right at home today. Meteorologist Gary Frank.
Yeah, it was raw. It was a raw start to the day, right? You know, it was not pleasant.
But they would have loved the snow.
They would have loved it. They would have loved it. They're not, pretty soon, people are going to be complaining to me about this, and we're going to be starting to complain about the heat before we know it. We know how this goes. So, we're not there yet to where we're going to slam the door on this type of weather, because it can still happen in March. But I'll tell you what, even with the wet roads and the fact that we had some pretty low visibility, you saw this snow that accumulated in Chesterfield, and of course, in the grassy surfaces mainly as the camera shifts on you here. Now, of course, most of that is gone, as is evident by this in St. James from Gene, who even shared the fact that he saw a robin. So we're trending in that direction, right? But a lot of it is the ground is still pretty warm. The sun angle, despite not seeing the sun, does help to melt things, as we saw that limited snowfall that moved out. And of course, we're going to see all this melt tomorrow either way. Now, it does feel much colder as we continue to look at temperatures, feeling like they're in the upper teens and low 20s. It's cold outside for sure. You'll feel that. Regionally, you can see the grip that this system has on us with our wind gusts out of the northwest at 37 miles an hour now. But look where the back edge of this now. It's only 6 miles an hour in Kansas City. This is all pushing out of here. It will do so overnight. You'll see that here, as is more evident as I zoom in locally. You can see we talked about this tomorrow morning. You'll start out with gusts at 20. So it's a little chilly. There's no doubt about that. But look at the rest of the day. We've got a west and southwest breeze. I think we're in really good shape. It's going to feel much better. You'll start out in the mid 30s here at 9 a.m. 11 o'clock, you're back in the 40s. We're near 50. We'll add clouds, but still very excellent day. Pretty close to normal, though, actually, all things considered. Now, as we talk about the rest of Wednesday and Thursday, like I said, it is quiet and dry. I do think there will be a few light showers on Friday morning. As you'll note, it's very brief. It's not significant. Once that moves out, I think the rest of the day is dry. It's sunny. We have more of a south breeze that continues. And then there's a cold front that maybe sets us back in a minor direction with some light rain and maybe a few snow showers to the north by Saturday early morning. This will not really have much impact on your plans or your outdoor activities whatsoever. And I talked about our departure from average temperatures. While Saturday is a minor setback, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we continue to watch this warm air build. And really what that means for us is our average highs are in the low 50s. Well, I think we have some upside to these numbers anyway with our future cast temperatures well into the 60s and 70s area wide. Where that puts us now is 50 to 64. And I really only have one morning that it's below freezing after tomorrow morning of the next 7 days. And if you look at on 5+, I've got extended 10-day forecast, which is similar to this one. And as we set our clocks forward, we're going to see temperatures that are feeling a lot more like spring to start off next week. I think that's going to get us out of this funk that always happens for 7 to 10 days after we do that. So I can tell you when we wake up tomorrow morning, it's not going to look that way, which is positive. And the fact that I got that going on after we set these clocks and we're in that brain funk, positive news.
Yeah, that makes up for losing an hour of sleep.
Gary, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, we have news on Jordan Walker. We have Mizzou at Oklahoma, and we have the Blues pulling a Horace Greeley and going west. We'll be right back. What a tough time for Blues general manager Doug Armstrong. The team is playing 3 games on the West Coast. They began the night 3 points out of the final playoff spot. If they lose them all, that would almost squelch their chances. Win them, and you're in the thick of it. But the backdrop is the trade deadline is Friday. What are they going to do? First, they will play the Kings tonight, scoreless game, first period. And this is Jake Neighbors with a pretty goal. Right now, we are tied at 1 after 1. So it doesn't matter that Mizzou beat Oklahoma by 24 points a few weeks ago. I didn't like this scenario at all for the Tigers. It's a road game, it's a revenge game, it's a senior night game, and it's an NCAA tournament game for Oklahoma. They lose, and they're likely out. And oh, by the way, Porter Moser is a really good coach. And the game plan, take it right at Mizzou. Byron Godine to the glass, a little up and under right there. And when Kobe Elvis drilled this 3, the Sooners led 50-35 in the first half. But the Tigers have Caleb Grill, and this bomb will cut it to 12 in the second half. And later, it's going to be Tony Perkins going high off glass to shave that lead. But you just don't want to lose on senior day. Oklahoma did not. The final, 96-84. Kyle Gurdeman and Lindenwood having their best season in 6 years, facing Morehead State in the OVC tourney. Jadis Jones, the freshman of the year, converts for the Lions. Love to see the Lions win the tourney. Suffocating defense, and when you look at this pass by Markeith Browning to Aeneas Futrell, and this Browning does more spinning than all those people at Lifetime Fitness. Look at this right here. Lindenwood leads 63-56, less than a minute to play. The SLU women lock in every March. Today they began their A10 tournament run against St. Bonaventure. Play of the game, Kennedy Calhoun on the break, behind the back, and a finish by Peyton Kennedy. SLU wins 60-50 to advance. Don't count out Rebecca Tillett and the Bills in the month of March.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
So this was supposed to be the breakout year for Jordan Walker, and it still could be. But yesterday, he tweaked his left knee after making that catch. He's been shut down for a week. The good news is there's no structural damage, just some inflammation. Sonny Gray made his first spring start against the Astros. He struck out 3, but gave up 3 solo homers. He went 2 2/3. Offensively, Ivan Herrera was the star with a pair of doubles, this one driving in a run. Houston wins 6-5, and I asked Mike Claiborne about Herrera's potential numbers with the bat.
I think he's a guy that could be somewhere in that 275 range. And for a catcher these days, that's pretty good. I think he's a player that can probably hit anywhere from 15 to maybe 22 home runs. He can be certainly an offensive plus for you in your lineup.
The playoffs have begun in high school. Vashon versus Lift for Life at Miller Career Academy. And I'll tell you, this Leon Powell Jr., that's skilled, jump stop in the bucket. Later, Armand Aaron, steal and layup. Vashon rolls 90-44. At Westminster, it was Parkway West facing Ladue. The Rams have a good-looking jump shooter, the coach's son, Jack Anderson, 5 of 6 from 3, 21 points. And Will Becker will also pop a 3. Another good season for Ladue. They roll 63-54. Vianney hosted Summit, and Luke Walsh on the very first play of the game will get the steal and the layup. He had 33 points. Later, Chase Duke will storm to the bucket. Vianney rolls 88-50, and that will do it in sports.
All right, thanks, Frank.
Faith in the Fast Lane, the convenient way Christians celebrated this holy day. Today is Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the 40-day Lenten season, a time for fasting and prayer for Christians.
The Archdiocese of St. Louis observed the Holy Day with Mass at the Cathedral Basilica. Many Christians received the sign of the cross in ashes on their forehead to signify repentance and renewal. The Gathering Church in the Ellendale neighborhood was one of many churches offering drive-through ashes and blessings, a convenient option on a cold and blustery day.
I'm on my way to work, and Mass is at 5, and I have somewhere to be at 5. So one way or the other, I was going to get it done.
It's a quick 2 minutes, and you're done, and you can move on your way.
Lent begins 6 weeks of penitence before Easter. Many also chose to give up indulgences like sweets or alcohol. Catholics abstain from eating meat on Fridays.
And that means the return of Friday fish fries. Starting this week, several local churches and groups will serve fish on Fridays during Lent. For a link to our interactive fish fry finder, text the word fish to 314-425-5355 and we will send it to your phone.
And when you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be a lot nicer than it was this morning.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's a little chilly, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be windy like that. And we'll get to 50 tomorrow with more sunshine. A slight chance for rain on bookending Friday in both directions, but it's still going to be much nicer. And of course, the second half of this is what you're looking at. Mid to upper 70s. Those are the days that if you're feeling ill, save them up.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+, and it's free.
And start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.